You'll never guess what I've been up to. Correct. I have been practicing making watercolor paint. Hi guys, hopping on quickly to show you this is my very first watercolor that's been successful but dried the first out of all of my experiments. And I've made about 15 to 20 watercolors in my experimental phase, and this is a dot card that dried the first. Now, it wouldn't be a dot card that I would sell because this is a dot splodge and not a dot card. So the splodges are for me to use and to experiment with, and this was my first green that I successfully made using the lemon yellow and the ultramarine blue with my ratio mixes of gum arabic and everything else. So what I thought I would do is drop a couple of drops of water onto this swatch card, well, the dot card or the splodge card, whatever you call it, and I'm going to use my water brush to do that. So I dropped about 4 drops of water, and I'm just leaving it there for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. That's what you have to do with watercolors, artisanal, professional watercolors. You always have to drop a few drops of water on them, and that's why you'll see a lot of artists using spray bottles, the misting bottles, that you spray all over your watercolors and leave it for about 2 to 5 minutes before you actually start to use them. This helps them to activate. So for me, perhaps there's too much gum arabic in this particular experiment that I'll learn. The next time I make it, there'll be less gum arabic. And basically we are in the experimental stage. And this is the second colour that I have made. And my critical opinion at the moment is I've used too much binder and not enough glycerine, because I technically have a recipe in mind that I've gotten from the internet, but I kind of refused to use it. I was stubborn, but I've only used like 12 drops of glycerine, and you ideally do need a good teaspoon or tablespoon, I think it is. So we keep experimenting. These are my dot cards. Sorry about the bad lighting, guys. It's early morning and I haven't put my desk light on. This is impromptu. But these are my very first experimental dot cards that have dried. So I am now putting them in a box that is lined with tissue paper so that I know where they are. And after checking my experimental drying box, these are the 2 tester caps and 1 little dot card that are ready for me to test now that they're fully dry, to see how they react. And this is my work area that I have now converted to paint making. I've got my silicone mat. Under the kitchen paper there is my glass. It's a chopping board basically you use for meat. It's double-sided. You just take a look here, there's the glass mat. So I use the smooth side, and the feet that came in the corners are actually just glued on, and when you go and wash the board in hot water, the feet will just kind of fall off. So it's better to have a flat mat. And on this silicone, it is completely, you can't move it. It's really good, because I then use in that bag is a glass, just a drinking glass, but it's very flat bottomed. And so technically you should use frosted glass, but you know, I'm making do at the moment during my trial and error to see how I get on paint making. And this is my very first homemade gum arabic solution for binder that you need for watercolor. But initially I started off with this pre-made by Winsor and Newton. My mulling area, and I'm just mulling a grey